When business owners go to sell their businesses, most assume they have to sell out completely. However, this may not produce the best outcome either for themselves or for the buyers. In this video, we'll show you how to easily get more when selling your business, and while increasing value and de-risking the acquisition for the buyers. Retaining an equity in your business can benefit everyone. To see how this works, business owners intending to sell should first put themselves in the shoes of the buyers. Imagine you are buying a business and the owner wants to sell and leave quickly. The risk to you as the incoming owner is higher than if the current owner is happy to stay involved in the business after the sale. Here are the reasons why. Where the owner wants to leave quickly, buyers may only have a short handover period to draw on the seller's expertise, understand the day-to-day operations, and integrate themselves completely into the seller's role and to the company. Buyers risk losing key relationships with suppliers and customers that the outgoing owner has developed over many years of experience. Now imagine the owner is prepared to stay on for a period of time to assist the buyer. This could be as a consultant on call, or in a more substantial new project-based role focused on business development. Think how much more reassuring this is for the buyer to have the current owner prepared to stay on and take on a new development role, available to maintain relationships with key employees, customers and suppliers, and also to be available for mentoring and advice to the new owner. Immediately the risk to the new owner is lowered. Now let's say the old owner is not only happy to stay on for an extended period, on a part-time basis even, but is also prepared to retain some equity in the business, however small. We call this having some skin in the game. The old owner's objectives are now perceived to be even more aligned with the buyers, as the old owners are incentivized to help the business successfully transition and perform in the hands of the new owners. Miraculously, most of the risks reduce considerably or disappear altogether, and acquiring the business represents a significantly safer proposition. As with any investment, reduced risk should make the business more valuable to the buyer. Not only could this make a difference between the sale proceeding or not, but most buyers are prepared to pay more to significantly de-risk their investment, just as they will pay less for a more risky proposition. How does this work in practice? Here's an example. You're the buyer and the outgoing owner is prepared to keep 10 to 20% interest in the business. If the former owner's ongoing involvement is deemed to considerably reduce your risk as a buyer, it adds perceived value to your investment, and the business is generally valued more highly as a result. You, as a buyer, may be prepared to pay as much for 80 to 90% share than you otherwise would be for 100% of what would be a riskier transaction if the owner was making a complete withdrawal of both labour and capital. I've even been involved in a negotiation where the buyer has offered to pay a specific price for half of the business, provided the current owner retained the other half for another 3 years. The current owner didn't want to stay involved and countered he was prepared to sell 100% of the business for the same price that he would have got for 50%. as long as he didn't have to stay longer than a month's handover. The buyer didn't proceed, even though he could have bought the entire business for the same amount he was prepared to pay for half of the business. He just assessed the risk as being too great. Of course, from an outgoing owner's perspective, if they're happy to stay involved in the business for a period of time after the sale, even on a part-time basis, they effectively keep a share of their business for free. There are some specific mechanisms for setting this up in a contract. We'll cover those in a separate video, which we'll link in the cards as soon as it's available.